Hi everybody, Sean back here with another video for you. Another episode of Classic Arcade Repairs. This I just pulled out of the box and setting it up on the bench. It says Taito Gunfight 1975. It is in fact a Midway board. It's the classic 8080, Space Invaders style Midway L-shaped board. Gunfight. Oh, look at these. Look at these pots. Look at those things. I've never seen open-faced pots like that. Yeah. 1976. It was inspected by number 835, 2/5 of 76. I was not even 3 years old yet. I was a couple months away from being 3 years old. Wow. Yeah, this is nuts. Cool. Old board set. Got these old ROMs. These I believe are like masked ROMs. That's not your typical 2716, so we'll probably have to replace all of these sockets to make this thing solid. These sockets are just junk, And we will do what we can. Let's go ahead and get a harness together and get this thing ready to be plugged in. I don't have anything to plug into these edges on this, so we're just going to be, well, I'm going to have to figure out some kind of a way to hook up the sound and whatnot. I'm going to have to pull the schematic and pinouts for this thing, but we'll worry about sound later. I just want to get the thing up on the screen and looking like something. We'll worry about sound at some other point. So let's do that. Get the harness stuff out and get this thing ready to be plugged in. And hope nothing blows up. Alright, I have this thing hooked up, just power and video. And I've got it to this guy, and there's absolutely nothing going on. My voltages are good. I've checked all my voltages, but there is no life, nothing. So we will go ahead and see what's going on with this thing. I guess I'll just get the logic probe and start probing around and see if it's getting any kind of digital signals going on. So let's do that. Could be a completely dead processor, who knows? I don't know. This socket could be garbage, which it probably is. But we'll figure something out. Okay, I replaced this nasty socket, and I got the fluke on it, of course. And I'm running a RAM short, and after doing some reseating of these chips and these nasty garbage white sockets, I had to sit there and fiddle with them and reseat them and stuff. Those have to be replaced. But I'm actually doing a RAM short, and I think it's going to pass. So that's pretty amazing. All the RAM are good. It's the way it's looking. This thing, it's early. It could fail. But if this passes, I'm going to do a RAM long and really exercise that RAM and see if it'll. I don't really want to even bother with that with these stupid sockets. All it takes is one flake out. These are addressers. Those four up front are addressing chips, and as you can see, they're in nasty sockets. So this is looking pretty good. I already did 2000 to 23FF, and that passed. and that's the CPU's working RAM area. I made this part of the harness up here. This plugs in up here. It's basically got the speaker wires and 5 volts, and I got 15 volts going into it. 15 volts, 5, and ground into that. So yeah. It's looking good. Yeah, that worked. Passed. Now about the ROMs, I don't know. These are 512 by 8. And I got to look at the data sheet. I think they have 8 or 9 address lines. Depending on how many address lines it has is the range. I'm not sure if it's 8 or 9. But I think they're 0 to 1 FF. And I'm just curious, if I do ROM test at 0, I don't know what the address ranges are on this, how it's strapped. Yeah, let's try 4880. I don't know if this is even right. No. EEB2. No, I have no idea, to be honest. I want to look at the data sheet on these guys and see what the address range is. I believe it's to 1FF. 0 to 1FF. But yeah, we will, at least I can get to the RAM good. That's awesome. It means the decoding's working and everything. Now these ROMs might be garbage, the sockets might be garbage. I don't know. I would like to put, I mean, all this needs is 2 ROMs, to be honest. If I change the strapping and use 2716s, I could just use 2 ROMs and eliminate all that shit, you know. I'm going to look into that. I'm going to I'll figure out how I'm going to tackle this guy. I might just eliminate all of this. We'll see. Alright, it's been a good few minutes. It's been doing its thing. I turned my monitor on and I'm getting nothing on the screen at all. No signal. There's no video signal at all. I had my TV up there and it just has the blue video input screen and it wasn't doing anything, so I was like, well, maybe I need to use the arcade monitor. But there's no video at all coming out of this board. Right now, this video RAM is being exercised right now. So whatever is being fed into that and stuff should be being displayed on the screen. I have it hooked up. I have my video cable, my black and white video cable is hooked up. I mean, I could double check my setup, but I'm sure it's hooked up. But we're just getting nothing on the screen. So that's another issue. We got no video at all. So yeah. So I'll have to look into that as well. But my RAM test is going swimmingly, which is awesome. And I was mistaken. I got to thinking about it, and I believe all of the data kind of, this is like the data highway right here. These 4 2-bit muxes where all of the data from various sources come together and they're multiplexed and then put through these 2 transceivers back to the CPU. So in this you have data from the RAM, data from the ROM, maybe data from this board, you know, whatever. There's 4 data bits that come into this and it selects one of them to send back to the CPU. So that tells me these muxes at least are working for RAM. It might always be selecting RAM, I don't know yet. But ROM isn't seeming to do anything. But I want to look at the schematic of this board. What I'm going to have to do is, because I can't I can't find, well, maybe I can find a schematic for how this is strapped, because then I can find out what ranges activate what ROMs. So if I want to put ROMs together, I know which one to, you know, if this is 0 to 1FF, I have to do this one first in the ROM. There's four of these make up 12716, but it might be this one, this one, this one, and that one are one ROM, you know, and you have to know what order to put the data. So, and then you'd have to strap it for 2716s, which I think would be a good idea. I think it would be, but I need to figure out this decoding first. What range activates what ROMs, so I know what order to put the data in a 2716. So, yeah. Okay, cool. I'm sitting here just waiting for my RAM long. It's still going. It's been about 10 minutes. And I thought I'd draw something kind of comical. This is my interpretation of an LS-153 MUX. It's a 4-lane highway, right? 4-lane highway. And it has an off-ramp right here and here, and it's got little gates. These are gates that open and close. And then you have a traffic cop, and you have the gatekeeper. So you've got all these four data bits coming in on these, or cars, if you will, whatever you want to think of it as. It's a 4-lane data highway, holds 4 data bits, and you've got your traffic cop, which he determines which lane gets to exit. So he either directs bit 1, 2, 3, or 4 to the CPU's off-ramp. And the gatekeeper, he determines if anything's getting off of the highway. If he closes the gate, then the highway is detached from the CPU. Yeah. That's my little LS-153 interpretation. You have an enable right here. He's the enabler. And you have the selector, the data selector. You have the 4-bit bus itself and a 1-bit off-ramp or output. There you go. I hope I have entertained. Okay, and it is done after a RAM long, and I am actually amazed that worked. That is incredible. 1975, and the RAMs are still good. They are Texas Instruments, and they are ceramic. So yeah, couple of things. I want to replace these sockets, and I want to find out what I'm going to do about this. I may be able to. These things get pretty hot. These are like PROM chips. They're one-time programmable. They're ROMs, you know, it's one-time programmable chips. So I may be able to just dump these and verify them. I'm going to look into what I'm going to do. I'll be back. Okay, I replaced the LS42, and now our range from A00 to BFF is okay. So that thing was bad, and it would allow access to every ROM except for that guy. Okay, good, good, good. Still no video at all. So our ROMs are now good. but there's still no video, so I will have to look at different parts of the schematic. We are good now on ROM and RAM. Now we have to turn our attention to the video part and this backboard, because that's like the game board, so that thing needs to be looked at. Plus I'm going to finish up looking at the video circuitry, because the video output is on this board, I believe. I'm going to have to look at the schematic a little bit and find out really what's going on, but I am going to go through and I'm going to just go through all of these ranges. One, you know, I only did this one. I want to make sure that the rest of them are good. Our RAM, I know our ROMs are now good, and our RAMs, so we're getting somewhere. We're making progress. Alright, I was going through these ROMs and I had a scare because this one was not coming out right. This guy right here, it turns out it's just a bad socket, because I did just mess with it and got it to work. So I'm going to have to replace these sockets, unfortunately. But I'll replace all of them. Every white socket will get replaced. So we're good on ROM and RAM now on this board. So I can go ahead and put the fluke up. Still nothing. No video. No nothing. I'm not ready to proclaim that this board is good yet. My hunch is that all of our problems are on this PCB. But maybe not. It remains to be seen. But yeah, because this board mostly, I don't know. I have to look at the schematic and find out exactly how this works. I figure most of this circuitry on this board is related to decoding and data path, address and data path for CPU. But I know that video is put out on this board, so that means that there's video circuitry on this board. So we'll have to look into it. I really need to become an expert on Midway 8080 hardware on this repair and look at the schematic, find out how does this really work. So, alright. Well, kind of stripping these boards apart, getting ready for some maintenance on sockets and stuff, and removing chips from this and stuff, socketed stuff. We'll replace these sockets too. They're all junk. And removing these little guys out of the board, and they are in bad shape. There's a lot of broken legs. Rusted. Bent legs. I'm going to have to try to source these. So, I don't even know what they are. I'll take a look. Okay, and I have gone ahead and got all of the sockets removed off of this board. And I went through and I tinned all of the top side pads, kind of, on this board. Just clean up those pads, make sure there's a good solder connection. And I scrubbed it, and there's a lot of flux from desoldering these guys. So I cleaned it all off, get it ready for new sockets. Yeah.